Hi students, in this lecture video we'll continue with MCQs on the chapter electromagnetic waves. Okay, so little bit of synopsis let me give you again. Every time I'm doing MCQs in the beginning 5 minutes I'm giving you some synopsis, but from your side also please try to have the notes and revise before seeing the MCQs. Okay, so I told you that in an electromagnetic wave there are oscillations of electric field and magnetic field. Okay, so there are oscillations of electric field and magnetic field perpendicular to each other. Yes or no? Okay, then if you want to know the energy density of EM wave, so imagine there is a source of light, then you know in the surrounding space there is light. If there is light, there is energy. If there is energy, then we want to know in some volume how much energy is there. That is called energy density. So energy density is nothing but energy in some volume divided by the volume. But since we are writing energy density of EM wave, there will be contribution from electric field also, magnetic field also. So the formula that we write is small u we use, capital U we use for energy. So small u we will use for energy density. So that is equals to, there will be contribution due to electric field and there will be contribution due to magnetic field. Okay students. Now these are, since oscillations, these are all average values. So this is the average value of the energy density. Now for electric field, the energy density is given by half epsilon naught E square. And for magnetic field, it is given by half E square will be B square. And epsilon naught should be replaced by 1 by mu naught. Right? These formulas we have seen already. Again, since it is oscillations, remember, since E and B are oscillating, the values of E and B which I write here are RMS values. So E and B in this formula are RMS values. Okay. Now, so this is your UE and this is your UM. This is the energy density in the electric field. This is the energy density in the magnetic field. Now, we know that the total energy density which is there is divided equally between electric field and magnetic field. Is divided equally. In other words, these two are equal. So we can write this formula either in terms of only this, or we can also write in terms of only this. Let us write in terms of only this. Then it will be energy density of electromagnetic waves will be this plus this. But this can be replaced by this also. So half plus half will be 1. So it will be epsilon naught E square. Okay, what if I want to write in terms of only magnetic field energy? Then this you can write as this. So it will become B square by mu naught. Okay. Okay, students. So this is the formula for energy density in electromagnetic waves. We can also write this in terms of peak values. How to write in terms of peak values? E, I have to write E naught by root 2, because see, E and B are oscillating. So they will have some peak value, and whenever we write the values of any oscillating quantity, it always represents the RMS values. And we can write the magnetic field RMS value as V naught by root 2. So if you want to write this formula in terms of E naught, just substitute this E here. Okay students, so keep this in mind. Okay. Then after knowing the energy density, sometimes they will ask you about intensity. Okay, so intensity of a wave whether it is electromagnetic waves or any other waves. Okay, the definition for intensity is total energy per unit area per unit time. That is the definition. Now, if you do the derivation which we have done in our regular classes, you will find intensity is equals to energy density, because we are writing for EM waves, energy density into speed of the wave. Speed of the wave. Since it is light, we are writing c. Electromagnetic waves travel with speed of light. So this is the formula for intensity. Okay. So sometimes this will be given. You can calculate this. Sometimes power will be given. So power you can write like this. Energy by time is your power. So you can also write this formula as power by area is equals to energy density into speed of light. Then you can cross multiply the area. For example, if this is your source, now for a point source, the radiation will go in all direction, right? So the energy will be spread on what kind of area? Spherical area. So at a distance r, this area where the energy will be spread, that area will be what? 4 pi r square. Since it is a spherical area, so you can substitute 4 pi r square. Then you can write here 4 pi r square. Then here you can substitute the previous formula which I gave you, and then you can find electric field at a distance r also. All these things last Saturday also I have given. Okay, so please remember these things. So let us start solving some questions. Before that, let me give you another concept of displacement current. So in class we found that if you have, let us say these are the two plates of a capacitor. So when the current is flowing, the capacitor is getting charged. The capacitor is getting charged. Now this is your real current. Real current means rate of flow of charge. Okay, in between the capacitor, obviously there are no charges flowing. So there is no real current or there is no conduction current. This is sometimes called conduction current. Right? And to find the magnetic field due to this current, we use Ampere's circuital law. Integral of B dot dl, which should be done in a loop. So let us say C is the loop, and that should be equal to mu naught times the current. But if you remember, Maxwell found that this law is inconsistent, right? So if you want to find, for example, magnetic field at some distance here, r, at some distance from the axis r. Suppose you want to find magnetic field here. Then if you apply this law, you will say magnetic field here is 0. Why it is 0 here? Because if you make a loop like this, then this radius of the loop will be this r, right? Radius of the loop will be this r. So this left side will be what? B into 2 pi r, right? So B is circular. If there is any B, we can imagine it is circular, and integral of dl will be 2 pi r. That will be 0 because there is no current flowing through this loop. There is no current enclosed by this loop. But we know that even here there is magnetic field. And who is producing that magnetic field? Not this current actually, but as the capacitor is getting charged, what I told you, the electric field in between the plates will change with time. And if electric field changes with time, that can also produce magnetic field. That is why whenever electric field changes in a region, since electric flux through a loop will change, because if electric field is changing, electric flux will change. That change in electric flux, we say it results in magnetic field. But since we have habit of saying that magnetic field is produced by current, we say that whenever electric flux changes through a certain loop, then there will be displacement current through that loop, displacement current. So how it was modified? One more quantity was added here, displacement current. So now when you apply Ampere circuit law to this loop, even if there may not be any real current, there is a displacement current. Why there is displacement current? Because the formula for displacement current is epsilon naught d phi E by dt. So you can see the electric field lines between the capacitor is going like this. Yes or no? So you can see that this much is the electric flux through the loop, through this loop. And since the capacitor is getting charged, the charge here is changing. So if the charge is changing, electric field will be changing. If electric field is changing, the flux will be changing. And if the flux is changing, electric flux is changing, there will be displacement current which will produce magnetic field. Okay, students, so do not think that magnetic field is produced only by currents. It is also produced by something called displacement current, which is nothing like the real current. It is actually due to changes in electric flux. However, in class I have shown that if you do the substitution here, you will find that displacement current is numerically equal to the real current. So this is very important to remember. Okay, the displacement current in between the capacitor, displacement current in between the capacitor is equal to the real current numerically. Numerically they are equal. So you can check the notes on the topic called consistency of inconsistency in Ampere circuital law, and how that inconsistency was removed by Maxwell. And while doing that, he showed that the displacement current in between the plates of capacitor must be equal to the real current. Okay. So today we will do MCQs which are based on this concept and the previous concept. So let us start. So up to question number 9 we have done. 10 we will not do right now. 10, to solve question number 10, we need the concept of some concepts of first PU. Reflection of waves. Reflection of waves. Reflection. So we will do it today itself, but at the last we will do, because I want to revise some first PU concept also. So let us go for question number 11. So question number 11 says, if separation between screen and point source is increased by 2%, what would be the effect on the intensity? Very simple. Intensity is power by area. And since it is a point source, the energy will spread on a sphere with center as the source. Yes or no? So at a distance r, the area in which the energy will spread will be 4 pi r square. So that is your intensity. Now for a given bulb or a source, your power is constant. So your intensity will be inversely proportional to r square. So here they are saying if the distance is increased by 2%, so they have kept some screen here. So if they increase this distance by 2%, if r is increased by 2%, then by how much intensity will change? By what percentage it will change? So since you can see the percentage change is very small, you can use error formula. What is error formula? If y is proportional to x power n, relative change can be written as n into relative change in x. Then you can multiply by 100 to make it percentage change. So you can see here I is proportional to r power minus 2. So relative change I hope you know, right? It is change divided by original value. So fractional change or relative change in intensity will be equal to, this power will come here, minus 2 relative change in the distance. Then you can multiply by 100 both the sides. Once you multiply by 100, relative change will become percentage change. What is the percentage change in distance? 2%. So what will be the percentage change in intensity? Minus 4%. So change is 4%, minus means your intensity will decrease. Obviously students, if you go farther and farther, weaker light will become weaker and weaker. So intensity has to decrease. So it will decrease by 4%. Which option? D. So minus sign is saying that your intensity should decrease. Question number 12, let us do now. So for small changes, we can directly use the error formula which was taught in it was taught in units and measurement chapter. Units and measurement, okay. But only for small changes. For large changes, we have to do it the actual way. Question number 12, you see. About 5% of the power of 100-watt light bulb is converted to visible radiation. You know that whatever energy the bulb is producing, all that is not visible, because you know that some of that is heat radiation. Heat matlab infrared also. That is why the bulb gets hot, right? What is the average intensity of visible radiation? They want average intensity of visible radiation at a distance 1 meter from the bulb. So you can consider the bulb as a point source. Okay. So at a distance of r equal to 1 meter, they want you to find the intensity. Intensity they want. Intensity, not current. Okay. So how to find the intensity? Power they have given. Well, that is quite simple. Uh, First, let us calculate how much is the power of visible radiation. So they told 5% of the power of 100-watt light bulb is converted to visible radiation. So power of visible radiation will be 5% of the power of the bulb. It is given in the question. Okay, so 5% means how much? 5 by 100, and power of the bulb is 100. So this is 5 watt. So only 5 watt is converted to visible radiation. Now intensity at a distance of 1 meter will be power divided by area. Now the area in which the power or energy will spread after it travels 1 meter is a sphere of radius r. So area will be 4 pi r square. So this is 5, this is 4 pi. Radius is how much they told? 1. So 1 square will be 1 only, right? So this will be 5 by 4 will be 1.25 divided by pi. Since it is intensity, unit will be watt per meter square. Watt per meter square. So here the units mentioned are not correct. It should be watt per meter square, not joules per meter square. Okay. So which is the answer? 1.25 divided by pi. Option A. Okay. Please make a note of this. Okay. Let's see the next one now. They can ask electric field here also, RMS value or peak value. Then you know what to do, right? Intensity you can write as energy density into speed of light. And energy density you can write in terms of electric field. Whether RMS value or peak value, both we can write. I hope some questions will be based on that also. It will be there, I'm sure. See question number 13. That one only now. Consider an electric bulb of power 60 watt. So power of the bulb is 60 watt. As a point source of electromagnetic radiation. Its efficiency is 5% in converting electric energy to visible light. So the power that we are interested, visible, is 5% of 60 watt. So that will be 5 by 100 into 60. So 3 watt. Correct? No. So don't use this power. This is the power we have to use. Now the maximum magnitude, maximum means peak value of electric field of the light radiation that is incident on a page at a distance 0.3 meter from the bulb. So at what distance from the bulb? 0.3 meter. So there is a page here. Maybe some book is there. So there is a bulb here. There is a book here. So at this distance, which is 0.3 meter, correct? No, yeah, 0.3 meter. You have to find here the electric field peak value. Okay. Now you know energy will spread in a sphere of radius r. So everything we can do. No, so intensity will be this power. Let me write visible like this divided by area. Area will be 4 pi r square. And that will be your energy density into speed of light. Okay, intensity is energy density into speed of light. So this is power of the visible radiation 4 pi r square is equals to energy density in terms of electric field we want because they want electric field. So this is epsilon naught E square. And E square you can write E naught square by 2 also. Because E is E naught by root 2. Because E matlab RMS value, remember. So from here we can find the electric field. This is 3 watt, remember 3 watt. So what will be the formula for maximum value of electric field? Cross multiply, so root will be there, 2 into power, then divide by epsilon naught c will come here, so 4 pi epsilon naught r square c. So this we have to calculate. Okay, so let's substitute the values before I forget. Okay, so power of the visible radiation was 3 watt. Now see here, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, you can write 9 into 10 power 9. Yes or no? So don't substitute the value of epsilon naught and pi. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught we know from electrostatics chapter is 9 into 10 power 9. R is 0.3. 0.3 means 3 into 10 power minus 1 meter. Square it. If you square this, it will become 9 into 10 power minus 2 meter. Speed of light is 3 into 10 power 8. Correct now? So this 9 and 9 will cancel. This 3 and this 3 will cancel. So root of 8 minus 2 will be plus 6. Plus 6 will go up minus 6. 9 minus 6 will be plus 3. So 2 into 10 power plus 3. Since this is odd number, let us give 110 here. So we root 20 into 10. Sorry. Square root of 10 power 2 is 10. No. So root 20 now. Now try to do it approximately. See, 4 4 is 16, 5 5 is 25. So it will be 4 point something into 10. And since it is electric field, it should be volt per meter. So it will be 44, 45, something like that. Okay, so 40 range it should be. Let us see the options. 31, no, 45, yes. Because other options are 63 and 90. How can this be 63 or 90? So this has to be option B. So without actually doing also, we can find approximately. Because root 20 should be 4 point something only. 4.5 it may be. So 4.5 into 10 will be 45. Okay, students, option B. Let us see the next one now. A radio receiver antenna that is 2 meter long. So there is a radio receiver antenna. So there is a antenna which is 2 meter long. Is oriented along the direction of EM waves. and receives a signal of intensity. So it receives a signal of intensity 5 into 10 power minus 16 watt per meter square. So very clearly from the unit you know it is intensity. The maximum potential difference between the ends of the antenna. So first you have to find the electric field. So we have to assume whatever electric field of light is coming is this way. If it is this way, then the electrons will not oscillate, right? So we will assume it is this way. Okay, so electric field is this way, we have to assume. In this light there is electric field, no? So what we have to do to find the potential difference? We will find the electric field, the maximum electric field. So from intensity, how to find maximum electric field? This is not power, remember, so don't use the same formula. So intensity is energy density into speed of light. See, always start with basic. And energy density is half epsilon naught E naught square. This time intensity is given directly, so this only I will use. Why to go with power formula? So intensity will be root of 2I by epsilon naught C. Now those who know the value of epsilon naught can substitute and try to solve. I will feel it more comfortable if I convert this into 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Then in the numerator, I have to multiply with 4 pi. This is done to do the calculation, okay? I hope it will become easier. Now don't cancel 4 pi, then again you will come here only. So your maximum value of electric field will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. I can write 9 into 10 power 9. 2 into intensity is 5 into 10 power minus 16. 4 into pi. Correct? No. Divided by C. C is 3 into 10 power 8. Now let me see how far the options are. 1.23 micro. One is 1.23 milli. 1.23 milli are repeated. B and D are repeated. So grace marks. But here we will solve. So you can see all the options are very far. Don't tell me 1.23 sir, everywhere it is there. But units you see, micro, milli, and one is directly volt. So the units are very far. So we can aram se do approximation. So what I'll do, this pi and 3 I'll cancel. Okay. 2 5s is 10. I'll keep it here. 9 4s is 36. Root of 36 will be 6. Root of 36 will be 6. So root over what will be left now? This is 10. So this 10 will have 1 0 with this 9 zeros, so 10 zeros. 10 zeros minus 16 minus 6. This 8 will go up. Minus 6 minus 8 will be minus 14. Correct? No? So it will be 10 to the power minus 14. Correct or not? Check once. So this will be 10 power minus 14, which will be 6 into 10 power minus 7. Units will be volt per meter. From units also you will get idea. So electric field is something volt per meter. So it tells you the potential difference for 1 meter. We want potential difference for 2 meter. So multiply with 2. If you don't remember formula also you can apply. Maximum potential difference here between these two will be the maximum electric field here into this distance. This formula we have used in capacitor also. So this will be equal to 6 into 10 power minus 7 volt per meter into 2 meter. So that will be 12 into 10 power minus 7, which I can write 1.2 into 10 power minus 6, which means 1.2 microvolt. 1.2 microvolt. So which option? Option A. 1.23 I did not get, but that's okay, right? If you start putting, imagine if you start putting here 3.14 and then divide that, then take square root, it will be very, very complex. So learn how to do approximations. Most of the time it will work. I did my NET exams by doing this kind of approximation only. I did not wanted to waste my time. Okay. Okay, let us see the next question now. An EM wave radiates outward from a dipole antenna. Now, dipole basically means there is an antenna where your electrons are oscillating. So, at any given point, more electrons will be here than here. So, this will be positive, this will be negative. Next moment, as it is oscillating, that will be negative, this will be positive. Okay. So, what you will have is you will have an instantaneous dipole. One end positive, one end negative. Then next time, this end negative, this time positive. So your dipole moment keeps on changing. So that's why they are also calling it dipole antenna. An electromagnetic wave radiates outward from a dipole antenna with E naught as the amplitude of its electric field vector. The electric field, which transports significant energy from the source, falls off as 1 by R. So answer is electric field will fall as 1 by R. Now the way to understand this is, as if you are very near to the antenna, then the field will be very complex. Okay, the nature of the field will be very complex. But as you go farther and farther, as you go farther and farther, the surface in which the energy will be spread, okay, or the field will take more and more spherical shape. So the farther you are from the antenna, the more and more spherical shape it will take. So if it takes spherical shape, then I can say your intensity will be proportional to R square, because this will be 4 pi R square. Now intensity has in its formula energy density into C, no? Yes or no, students? And energy density has half epsilon naught E naught square. So you can see E naught square is proportional to 1 by R square. So E naught will be proportional to 1 by R. Okay, students, so as you do engineering and all, you will study about the nature near to the dipole also. But this is only true little bit far from the dipole. And that is where the significant energy will be there. Okay. So please try to remember that it is not 1 by R square, which is true for point charges. This is not field due to point charge. This is field due to a source of EM waves, where the E is not electrostatic itself. It is a oscillating electric field. Basically it is electric field in light, you can say. This is light only thing is it may not be visible, but still it has all the properties of light. In fact, you will see later people will call electromagnetic waves as light only, and if they want to talk about the one which helps you to see objects, then we say visible light like that. Otherwise other radiations of electromagnetic nature are also called light. Fine. So this is one option C. Option D. The electric field intensity produced by the radiations coming from 100-watt bulb at a 3-meter distance is E. The electric field intensity produced by the radiations coming from 50-watt bulb at the same distance. So 50-watt bulb at the same distance. So here distance is same, power is different. You know that your electric field, whether it is RMS value or peak value, is proportional to root of power. Check the formula, power was there in the numerator. So if power becomes how much? From how much to how much it becomes? From 100 watt it becomes 50 watt. So you can write E1 by E2 is equal to root of P1 by P2. The distance is fixed, R is same. If R is not same, then you write 1 by R also, because it is inversely proportional to R also. But here R is same. So first electric field is E, second one we have to find. First power is 100, second power is 50. This will be 2. So we cross multiply, E2 will be E by root 2. Which option? Option C. Let's see 17 now. If you notice till now we have not calculated magnetic field part, only electric field part we are calculating. But in exam they can ask magnetic field also, be careful. So let us see what is the next one. The rate of energy flow of a sunlight, of not a sunlight, of sunlight associated with Earth is 1.6 kilowatt per meter square. From the unit, you know it is intensity. 1.6 kilowatt. So 10 power 3 watt per meter square. This is kilowatt. Okay. So that is the intensity of sunlight reaching Earth. The maximum value of magnetic field they are asking. So the magnetic field which you get from light, how much you are getting, maximum value. So let us calculate now. Same idea I will follow. Intensity is given, so don't write in terms of power because intensity is given. So intensity is energy density of electromagnetic waves into speed of light. Now, usually I write this in terms of electric field. Now I will write in terms of magnetic field. So magnetic field, if I write, it is B square by mu. Otherwise it is epsilon naught E square. If you write in terms of magnetic field, B square by mu naught. Now they want maximum value. So this is RMS value right now. So it will be B naught square by 2 mu naught C. So this is also something we should be able to do. We should be able to write in terms of magnetic field also. Or students, if you are used to finding electric field only, find electric field, then use this formula which I have given to you people before to find magnetic field. So find electric field, then find magnetic field by using this formula. So what will be your B naught here? Cross multiply. So B naught will be square root of 2 mu naught I by C. Mu naught value is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7. Intensity is 1.6 into 10 power 3 divided by C. Okay, so again I am tempted to cancel this pi and 3. Every time you may not be able to do this exactly, but let me do it because I want to do approximately. Now this will be 2 4s are 8, so 1.6 into 8, 8 6 are 48, 8 4 carry, 8 1s are 8, 12. So 12.86, right? So this will give you square root of 12.8 into square root of what power? This is minus 7, this is 4, so minus 4. 8 will go up, minus 8, so minus 12. Right? Now what will be the square root of 12 point something? 3 3s are is 9, 4 4s are is 16. 3 3s are is 9, 4 4s are is 16. So it should be 3 point something into 10 power minus 6 since it is magnetic field Tesla. So let us hope that there will be some option which will be closest to this one. Maximum value of magnetic 1.66 is too far. 3.66. Two options are there with 3.66, but 10 power minus 6 is only option C. So option C should be right. Okay. 18 let us do now. Question number 18. A small bulb emits 100 watt of electromagnetic radiation uniformly in all directions. What is the maximum energy density in the electric field? They should have told what is the maximum energy density of electromagnetic waves only here. In the electric field they are said, so let us think about this. At a point 1 meter from the source. So they want energy density, power is mentioned. Okay, and no efficiency, nothing. They are not asking us to concentrate only on visible light like that. So the total power which is given, that itself we will use as power, because they have not told some percentage only will be converted to visible radiation and find energy density of visible radiation like that. They have not told. They just told there is a bulb of this much power, what is the energy density of electromagnetic waves. So we are going to consider this itself as the total power. Now, they want energy density. So let me just calculate the energy density of EM waves first. Okay, forgetting about electric field part or magnetic field part. Now this is the average value. This is the average value. Okay, so let us start. This is average value. So what is the formula? Power we know. At what distance they want? 1 meter from the source. So by 1 meter it will spread in an area of 4 pi r square. So what is the formula now? Intensity is energy density of EM waves into speed of light. Since power and distance is given, I will write power by 4 pi r square equal to energy density into speed of light. So since we want energy density, cross multiply 4 pi r square c. This time I will not multiply and divide by epsilon naught because epsilon naught value is tricky, right? So I will just write power is 100, 4 is 4, pi. This time let me write at least 3.14 because I won't be able to cancel with anything. R is 1 meter, that is the good news. And C we all know is 3 into 10 power 8. So this will be how much? Okay. So this into this will be almost how much? 3 3s are 9. So this into this will be almost 10. So I write 1 by 4 into this is 10. 10 and 10 power 8 will be 10 power 9. That will go up minus 9. Minus 9 plus 2 will be minus 7. So that will be the energy density, which is joules per meter cube. Joules per meter cube. For 1 by 4 I can write 0.25 into 10 power minus 7 joules per meter cube. So that is the energy density of EM waves, which is the option. So here they want me to write in terms of all the options are, I think option C will be closest because 2.65. So if I write this as 2.5, it will become 10 power minus 8, right? Because to do this, I have to multiply with divide by 10. So that 10 will go up. So minus 8. Listen, no? To write this way, I have to divide by 10. No, the 10 will go up. So this is option A. Okay, students. So this is the energy density of EM waves if they asked. Now you will think, but sir, they asked energy density of only electric field. Only electric field. Right? So only electric field if I ask, then it will be what? Half of this or not? Right? Only electric field energy density, because in electromagnetic wave the energy density is, the contribution comes from electric field also, magnetic field also, and it is equal. So the contribution of only electric field if I ask, the energy density in electric field only if I ask, then it should be half of this. Okay, but this is average value, remember, this is average. Now maximum value they asked in the question, max value. Now how to find the max value? Look here, your energy density in electric field is half epsilon naught E square, where E is the RMS value. Okay, when I don't write, it means RMS value for oscillating quantities. Now maximum if I want, then I have to use here maximum electric field. So maximum if I use E naught by 2 will come. Yes or no? Sorry, maximum if I want, I write E naught square like this. Maximum if I want. Okay. Now this itself I can write half epsilon naught maximum electric field divided by 2, because E RMS is E naught by root 2. If I cross multiply, this 2 will go here. So if you compare this result with this result, what do you see, students? The maximum energy density in electric field is twice of average energy density. So this is average, this is maximum. So average was coming this much, right? So maximum is what? Twice of average. But average was this much. So if you substitute this back here, this half and this 2 will cancel. Yes or no? So you will get this itself. So whatever I have calculated is also maximum energy density in electric field. Or you can also say maximum energy density in magnetic field. Okay, students, I hope you are clear with this part. Okay. Okay, let us see the next question. Question number 19. The magnetic component of a polarized wave of light. Forget about the word polarized right now. Just think of EM waves of light is the magnetic field. You know it oscillates, right? So if I give you the instantaneous value, it will be something like some amplitude will be there. In Tesla unit they are saying. So this is the amplitude. Then sine of 1.57 into 10 power 7 per meter y plus omega t. So it's very clear the wave is traveling along y-axis because it is given here as y, and magnetic field is along x-axis. So electric field will be where? Along z-axis, that we know. But we are interested in only this. Let me tell you why we are interested only in this. This is the maximum value, okay, peak value. So what they want? The intensity of light they are asking. Simple. Intensity is energy density into C of EM waves. Now, if you want to write in terms of magnetic field, how will be this formula? B square by mu into C. In terms of peak value, if I write B naught square by 2 mu into C. Correct or not? Okay. So then this will be equals to 4 square will be 16, 10 power minus square will be 10 power minus 12. C is 3 into 10 power 8. It's mu naught, sorry. And mu naught value is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7. You know what I'll do, right? I'll cancel this 3 with this pi. This 4 4s are 16, 2 2s are 4. So this simplifies my calculation a lot. So 2 into 10 power minus 7, if it goes up plus 7 plus 8 will be plus 15 plus 15 minus 12 will be plus 3. So that much watt per meter square, which I can write 2 kilowatt per meter square. So let's see the option. So it is given as 1.9 kilowatt per meter square, close to 2, right? So option A. Question number 20 you see now. Question 20 you see, which of the following vector has magnitude same as average intensity in EM waves? Average in whatever we are writing is average intensity, and direction is along direction of propagation. So they have given you some vectors like this. Okay, first option is E bar cross B bar by mu naught. Now students, if they don't tell you what values are these, you have to consider them as RMS values. Okay. Now, can this option be, is this the option where they are saying that this is the average intensity? The magnitude of this should be average intensity. And the direction of this vector should be along the direction of propagation. We all know direction of propagation of EM wave is always along E cross B. Okay, so direction is always given by this cross product. E cross B you have to do. Thumb will give you the direction of propagation. So first option looks correct in direction. In magnitude we have to check. What about second option? Second option cannot be correct because it is given B bar cross E bar. B bar cross E bar is opposite to direction of propagation. So that cannot be accepted because they are asking us which vector will be average intensity in magnitude and direction should be along the direction of propagation. So B cannot be true. C also cannot be true. D or A, either A or D, one of them can be correct. So what we will do, we will try to find the magnitude of this and check whether it is equal to average intensity. Now what is the formula for average intensity of EM wave? This only, right? This is average, okay? See, just like when in AC chapter, when I wrote power as IRMS, VRMS, cos phi, that power we understand is average power. In fact, if they say find power in AC circuit, it is always we have to find average power. So average intensity will be energy density into C. Now we have to check. Now in terms of electric field, let me write. Then in terms of electric field, this is epsilon naught E square C. Yes or no? That half will only come if you write this as E naught because E is RMS value. So E naught by root 2 square if you do, then this half will come. Otherwise, this is the value. See, actually, energy density has two components. See the first 5 minutes of the class today. This one is half epsilon naught E square. So this is the average energy density of electric field. And this is the average energy density of magnetic field. Because these two formulas, if you remember, we have derived for DC. This we have derived for capacitor when it was connected to a battery. This much energy was stored in the capacitor per unit volume. So this half is written because in the derivation half came. Now when you add these two, because these two are equal in electromagnetic waves. Understood? So in electromagnetic waves, these two are equal. So if I write this equal to this, I will get epsilon naught E square. That is what I am writing. Now in terms of peak value, if I want, it will become by 2. Okay students, total. Then you can write in terms of magnetic field also. So do not get confused about this, no, which energy belongs to which one. So this is your total average intensity of EM waves. So let us check whether this magnitude will become this or not. So let us check. Okay. First option. Direction wise it is correct. Magnitude wise they are saying this should be your average intensity. So if you take magnitude of this, what will you get? EB cos, sorry, it is cross product, so sine. You know that these two vectors are always perpendicular, so sine 90 by mu naught. So EB by mu naught. Now, right now, this does not look like this. That is because we have not written in terms of epsilon naught and C. So let us write. Now, you know that E by B is equal to C. I know I wrote peak value, but you can divide this, multiply this by root 2, multiply this by root 2, then this will become ERMS, BRMS. So in place of B, I can write E by C by mu naught. Correct? No. Now C, because I want epsilon naught. So C, if you remember, is 1 by root over mu naught epsilon naught. So C square can be written as this value. So in place of mu naught, this is E square. In place of mu naught, if I cross multiply, I can write 1 by epsilon naught C square into C. Correct, students? Okay, just check what I have done in place of mu naught because I want to show that this is this. I want to try to show that this is this. So I need only epsilon naught C and E. So mu naught I want to replace. So mu naught can be replaced from here by cross multiply. So you see once C gets cancelled, this will go up. So it will become, this whole thing will become epsilon naught E square C, which matches with this, right? So first option is correct. Okay, students. Now, suppose you say, no, I want to write in terms of magnetic field. In terms of magnetic field, this formula is what? B squared by mu naught C. Same formula, same. Obviously, it will be equal only if I write in terms of magnetic field also. So that is in terms of electric field. In terms of magnetic field, C. E I have to replace. You know E by B is C. So in place of E, what I can write? B into C. So you see, you will get B square C by mu naught, which is again matching with this. Correct, no students? So this actually is your average intensity. So what we have discovered is something very nice. Okay. This vector is a vector, remember. E bar cross B bar is a vector. Divided by mu naught is a vector which represents the average energy intensity, average intensity I should say, of EM waves. So first of all, this represents the average intensity of EM waves if you take magnitude. Second, it also gives you and gives direction of propagation of EM waves. Okay, students. So this quantity, since it is giving such an important quantity, right? When light is flowing, everybody wants to know, no, what is the intensity? How much, in what direction it is moving? So that is given by this vector. So it is such a special vector that we have given a name to this. It is called S bar and it is called Poynting vector. Poynting vector, not Ricky Ponting, okay? Poynting vector. Okay, so this is the name of a person who discovered all this probably. So this is called Poynting vector. By the way, in terms of peak value, if you write, suppose in some JE or JE advanced question, they ask which of the options are Poynting vector, which represents this. Then what you will do? E naught, here root 2, so 2. Correct or not? If you want to write in terms of peak value, here E RMS is E naught by root 2, B RMS is B naught by root 2, root 2 will be here 2. Okay. So some new things we have learned, that is nice. Education means something new we should learn some every day. Let us see the next question now. In an electromagnetic wave, the electric and magnetizing fields, magnetic field word they have not used. So units we have to check once. Electric field is 100 volt per meter, no problem. It is electric field, but magnetic field is not given in Tesla. It is given ampere per meter. So if you remember, this is your H, magnetic intensity, or we also used to call it magnetizing field. The maximum energy flow, matlab what actually energy they are asking or power they are asking or intensity they are asking, not very clear, no? So options we have to see. If you see the options, they want intensity. So intensity average, of course, I have just shown to you, it is E bar cross B bar by mu naught. And you can write if you want in terms of this also, U E M into C, no problem. But why I'm writing in terms of this, you can, I've already shown you that this is equal to this, right? Check the derivation here. So I've already shown this is equal to this. Magnitude of this is equal to intensity. Now why I'm writing this is because I can write this H bar. Check your notes. How was magnetic intensity defined? B by mu. Since it is vacuum, I write mu naught. So in place by B by mu naught, I can write H. So if you want only magnitude, it would be EH. So it's very interesting that intensity of a wave can be written directly as product of electric field and magnetizing field. Now electric field was given 100, magnitude, RMS values. Okay, if they don't say anything, RMS values you have to write. So don't write 2 here. That 2 will come if you write peak values. So what is the value of magnetizing field they told? 0.265. So that will come 26.5 watt per meter square. This is option A. Next question you see, 22. An EM wave of intensity capital I, intensity here always will mean average intensity, falls on a surface kept in vacuum and exerts radiation pressure on it. Radiation pressure. Which of the following is true? Radiation pressure is 2I by C if the wave is totally absorbed. It is I by C if the wave is totally reflected. It is I by 2C if the wave is totally reflected. It is in between I by C and 2I by C for real surfaces. So let us check. Pressure they are asking. Now when radiation falls on any surface, normally, okay, normally. At an angle also we will study for little higher level exams. So at an angle also we will study, but right now imagine it is falling normally. Now the momentum carried by this radiation we should be able to calculate. Now if the total energy is E, capital U, if this is the total energy hitting the surface in time t. Concept we have already done, I am just revising once more. If this is the total energy falling on the surface in time t, then from Einstein's equation, the mass which is falling in time t is equal to energy by c square. So the momentum which is falling, momentum, okay. So the momentum transferred to the surface in time t will be mass into velocity. So that will be u by 1c will cancel into t. So that is the momentum transfer. Correct, no? Or we mass into velocity, energy by c square, energy by c square into c. Then why t I wrote? Yeah, t should not be there. Why t? I have to just substitute for this mass here, right? So 1c will cancel. So this is the momentum transfer. Now there are multiple cases depending on what kind of surface it is. So look here. Before that, force will be what? Force will be change in momentum by time taken. And time taken here is the time for which the radiation falls, because during that time momentum is transferred. So the time I have written t already. Correct or not? Okay. And since they want the answer in terms of what uh, intensity, I can write energy as intensity into area into time. Correct? No, intensity, energy, I can write intensity into area on which the radiation is falling into time. So this way I can write. So yeah, so let me keep it this much here. Now let me check different cases which are possible. So first case you see, first case is perfectly reflecting surface. Let me write first absorb, perfectly absorption, absorbing surface. So if I say the surface will completely absorb the light after it falls, then what is the momentum left after absorption? No momentum, because no energy is left, so no momentum can be left. So if momentum was P before and now there is no momentum, what is the change? 0 minus P, because initial momentum was P, final momentum is 0. So 0 minus P is minus P, since I want only magnitude P. So now in this case, your change in momentum will be P. Which P? The P which is transferred. Correct? No. So force now we can calculate. So change in momentum by time, so it will be P by T. P formula in terms of intensity I have written already. T cancels, right? Now see something interesting. If I bring this area here, so this is what? Pressure. So this is called radiation pressure because it is due to the force exerted by the radiation. Now what symbol we will write, because P, small p we are using for momentum, capital P in this chapter only we are using for power. So let us write PR. PR. What is this PR? Radiation pressure. Radiation pressure. So this I can write I by C. So if it is 100% absorption, it should be I by C. Let us see what they give. For totally absorbed, it is given 2I by C. That is wrong. So this is first option is wrong. Now let us see second case. If it is perfectly reflecting surface. Now if it is perfectly reflecting, what it means is if it is coming with momentum P, it will reflect with momentum P, but in opposite direction. So what will be change? If P becomes minus P, because it's a vector quantity, no? If P becomes minus P, what is the change? Minus P, minus 2P. So magnitude will be, change in momentum will be 2P now. So therefore this 2 will be here, 2 will be here, 2 will be here, 2 will be here. So now the radiation pressure will be 2I by C. But they told for totally reflecting it is I by C. So C, B is wrong, C is also wrong. So I hope you all understood, for real surfaces which may not be perfectly reflecting also and perfectly absorbing also, your radiation pressure will be in between I by C and 2I by C. Okay, exact value will depend on how much percentage is absorbed and how much percentage is reflected. Yeah, now it is clear. Please make a note. Very good question. Fine. Okay, pause the video and write. Okay, let us see question number now 23. Light with energy flux, again they are using word like flux and all, of 25 into 10 power 4 watt per meter square, which means it is intensity. So intensity is 25 into 10 power 4 watt per meter square. Falls on a perfectly reflecting surface, perfectly reflecting at normal incidence, normally. If the surface area is 15 centimeters square, then the average force exerted, force they want. Okay. So how will we do this problem? Force they are asking. I think here I did something. Let me do it this way. If since it is perfectly reflecting, what was the radiation pressure I showed here? 2I by C. Correct now? This is radiation pressure, which is force by area. So sometimes if you can't come from the top, you go from the back. That's the beauty of mathematics. So you can come this way, you can come this way also. So if you cross multiply, the force will be what? 2I by C into area. So intensity is 25 into 10 power 4. Area on which it is falling is 15 centimeters square, means 10 power minus 4 meters square. Speed of light is 3 into 10 power 8. So 3 5s are 15. So 25 into how much? This 10 power 4, 10 power minus 4 I can cancel. 2 5s are 10, 1 0 will be there. This 8 will go up, minus 8. Minus 8, 1 0 will be minus 7. So 25 into 10 power minus 7, or we can write 2.5 into 10 power. So at 2.5, I have to multiply with 10. So it will be 10 power minus 6. Correct? No? So let's see which way they have given. Option B. Option B. Okay. Let's go with the next one. Question number 24. Light with an energy flux of 20 watt per centimeter square. Again, same story. Intensity they have given 20 watt per centimeter square. But okay, falls on a non-reflecting surface this time at normal incidence. If the surface area where it falls is 30 centimeters square, then the total momentum delivered. So momentum delivered only the one. Momentum transferred, which we have derived already before, for complete absorption during what time? 30 minutes. 30 into 60 seconds will be how much? Momentum transfer. So I think I gave you one formula. Momentum transferred is total energy by C. Correct na? Total energy I can write intensity into area into time. Now look here. This is per centimeter square. This is centimeter square. So centimeter square will cancel. Answer will remain in SI units only. So let me not convert this into meter square. Then I have to convert this also into meter square. Correct, no students? So that will take more time. So intensity is 20 watt per centimeter square into area is 30. Centimeter square cancels. Time is 30 minutes. So 30 into 60 divided by C is 3 into 10 power 8. So this you can cancel. 2 3s are 6, 6 6 are 36. So 36 into 10 to the power 10 to the power minus 8 will go up minus 8 1 2 3 4. So minus 4. Since it's momentum, it will be kg meter per second. Momentum is kg meter per second, mass into velocity, right? So 36 into 10 power minus 4, option B. 25 let us do now. So in 25 they are saying the charge on a parallel plate capacitor varies. Charge is varying. The plates are very large and close together. The displacement current is displacement current. Now see, don't start writing the formula of displacement current, epsilon naught d phi e by dt, then d phi e you have to calculate. If you do that and if you keep simplifying, you will get this only. Displacement current is same as dq by dt. If you remember the discussion on how Maxwell removed the inconsistency in Ampere circuital law, you will find displacement current is same as your conduction current. So just you have to take that differentiation, which is your conduction current. Okay. So this is your conduction current. But remember, in between the capacitor, this is there. Outside the capacitor, this is there. So in a way, displacement current gives continuity to the current. Before we used to say current is flowing like this and then going like this, right? Because in between the capacitor, we never say there is current. But now we can say current has a continuity like this. Okay. So dq by dt is simple. Q naught is constant. Differentiation of cos omega t will be minus omega sine omega t. That's it. That is your displacement current. Which option you say? Option A. Let's see 26 now. You are given a 2 microfarad parallel plate capacitor. You are given a 2 microfarad parallel plate capacitor. So it is given as capacitance is given as 2 microfarad. How would you establish an instantaneous displacement current of 1 milliampere in the space between the plates by applying a varying potential difference of 500 volt per second, by applying a varying potential difference, by applying a constant potential difference, by applying a constant potential difference. As long as you can think what I have told you till now, to have displacement current, the charge on the capacitor should change. Then only electric field will change in between the capacitor. Then only the electric flux will change. Then only there will be displacement current. So it is very clear the charge on the plates should change, which means you have to apply varying voltage. So that way you can reduce 4 options into 2 options. Now, how much varying voltage we have to apply? Simple. Displacement current is also same as conduction current, which is dq by dt. And in a capacitor, what is Q? C into V. C is constant, so dV by dt. So you have to apply a voltage which varies with time according to this formula. So what will be dV by dt? Displacement current divided by C. Not speed of light, okay? This is capacitance, capital C it is. So displacement is 1 milliampere, matlab 10 power minus 3. Capacitance is 2 microfarad, 10 power minus 6. So 1 by 2 into 10 power plus 3. So 500 volt per meter. 500 volt per meter. Which option? Option A. Next question. A parallel plate capacitor made of circular plates, each of radius capital R 6 centimeter, has capacitance 100 picofarad. The capacitor is connected to a 230 volt AC supply. So this is RMS value with angular frequency 300 radian per second, that is omega. Choose the correct option. The RMS value of displacement current. Though they have told displacement current, we will find conduction current only. So RMS value they want. Second option, they also want amplitude of magnetic field at a point 3 centimeter from the axis between the plates. Before Maxwell's uh, modification, which he modified Ampere circuit law, second option would not be there because there is no magnetic field in between the capacitor. People used to think like that. But as long as you apply AC voltage, means charge will keep changing, electric field will keep changing, electric flux will keep changing. So when electric field in between the capacitor will change, there will be magnetic field in between the capacitor also. So that is a very good question. So first let us do the first part. There is only capacitor here, no resistor they have mentioned. So first they want RMS value of displacement current, which I will consider as RMS value of conduction current in the circuit, which we all know is Vrms XC, because there is no resistor, no inductor, and this I can write 1 by C omega. So Vrms C omega. Okay, students. So what is Vrms? Let us check in the question. Applied voltage. Applied voltage is 230. Capacitance is 100 picofarad. Pico matlab 10 power minus 12. And omega is 300. So 3 3s are 9, 3 2s are 6. 69 into 10 power minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 minus 12 minus 7. So 6.9 microampere, which means first option is correct. So no need to check second option if it is CET or JEE. Okay. But if it is a multiple based option, or if you see third and fourth option may be, both are right, both are wrong. Yeah. So in option C says both A and B are wrong, both A and B are correct. So we may have to check option D also. So they want amplitude of magnetic field, sorry, they want amplitude of magnetic field at a point 3 centimeter from the axis between the plates. So they have given you plates like this, whose radius is capital R, which is equal to 6 centimeter. Okay, now they are being charged at any point. There will be some charge here, no, at any instant, which is changing, remember, because they are applying AC. Now this is the meaning of axis. This is the axis of the capacitor. Now, at what distance they are asking? See, it will vary. If they ask outside, the answer will be different. If they ask inside, the answer will be different. So they want at 3 centimeters. So they want clearly inside this space, smaller, 3 centimeters. So at this point P, they want magnetic field. Correct? So what we have to do? We have to apply modified Ampere circuit law. So first let me make a Amperean loop. Right? So for this loop, which I will call C, let me apply modified Ampere circuital law. But remember, this id is not the id which we calculated. The id which we calculated was here for the capacitor, because this one is getting it is, this current is charging the whole plate, so electric field everywhere will change. So this id that we calculated was the current, displacement current in this space, but we want only the current which is enclosed by the loop. So we want only displacement current inside this loop. Keep that in your mind. Okay, so left side we have done many times. This will be b into 2 pi r. Now, since we are applying for this loop is clearly in between the capacitor. So your conduction current will be zero, but there will be some displacement current which also we have to calculate the enclosed inside part. Correct, students? Okay. So this will be B into 2 pi r mu naught. Now, how to find current passing only here? Displacement current I am talking about. Only here. Simple. Use unitary method. How to find price of 2 apples if you know price of 10 apples? Divide the price of 10 apples by 10 apples, then multiply with 2 apples. So I want current through this area. I know current through this area. This is the entire area, right? So I can write total current by total area, total current by total area, which is basically your current per unit area into this area. Correct or not? So if you think carefully, this is like your current density, displacement current density, we can say. Displacement current density. So J into A will give you current in that A. I want current only in this much area, remember. So you have to find the current density first, then multiply with the area. Or you can say total current by total area into area of a small part will give you current through that small part. By the way, this pi will cancel, one r here will cancel. So your B will be mu naught ID. Now it is total current because I wrote the current enclosed in terms of total current, right? Divided by 2 pi r square into small r. So it's nice to see that it is proportional to r, which means if I ask on the axis itself, here if I ask what will be magnetic field here itself, that will be zero, remember. So magnetic field on the axis will be zero because your r will be zero, no, on the axis itself. So in other words, the current here, the displacement current here, or actually speaking, the change in the electric field here will create this kind of magnetic field. So here there cannot be any magnetic because it is magnetic around this, no. So here there is no magnetic field. Okay. So now let us substitute the values. B will be mu naught is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7. So this 2 pi and this 4 pi will give you 1, 2 here. So 2 into 10 power minus 7. Displacement current was how much, students? The entire displacement current was same as the entire current here, which was 6.9 microamperes into small r is at what distance you want, 3 centimeter, convert into meter, and capital R is the radius of this disc, which is 6 centimeters square. So 36 into 10 power minus 2 square will be minus 4, right? So this is 3 2s are 6, sorry, 3 1s are 3, 3 2s are 6, 2 6 are 12, 3 2s are 6, 3 2s are 6, 3 3s are 9. So 2 1s are 2, 2 1s are 2, 2 5s are 50. Correct? No? So it is coming 1.15 into 10 power how much? Minus 6 minus 7 will be minus 13. Minus 13 minus 12 will be minus 15 plus 4 minus 11. So that much Tesla. But what we have calculated is magnetic field which is changing with time because these charges are changing with time. Okay, so since this is AC connected, this is your actually BRMS. Okay, so if you want maximum magnetic field, B naught, you have to multiply BRMS with root 2. So multiply this value with root 2. Okay, students? Because for AC, whenever you calculate a given quantity, it is always the RMS value. Because the current that we used here, this current that we used here is the RMS value, no? So see, if this current is oscillating sinusoidally, this will also oscillate sinusoidally at any point. So if you use peak value, this will be peak value. But I used RMS value, so this will be RMS value. Okay, students? So it is completely wrong. Option B is wrong. So it's 10 power minus 7 they have given. So only option A is correct. Question number 28. It is this only, but with symbols we have to do. Question number 28. Which of the following gives the relation for magnetic field at a point in between the plates of a capacitor, parallel plate capacitor during charging? Given symbols have usual meaning they are saying. So if you see the options, they want in terms of mu naught, epsilon naught, r, at what distance you want, and electric field. Now look here. This is your capacitor. Okay. This is the axis. It is getting charged. So if it is getting charged, Q will change with time. Q will change. So electric field here will also change. At what distance? R in between the capacitor. Here, let us say P. They want the electric field. So again, same story. First, you construct one Amperian loop. Then apply Ampere circuital law. Left side you know already. B into 2 pi R. Right side will be mu naught into only displacement current here, remember. Okay. Now how to find displacement current here? Since this time there is no voltage mentioned, capacitance is not mentioned, so there's no point writing this in terms of the actual the conduction current. So this time what we will do, we will go with the formula of ID. What is the formula for ID? Epsilon naught d phi e by dt by dt. Yes or no? But since I want only current here, remember, only here, it means I want only electric flux here, remember. So that will be epsilon naught d by dt. Electric flux only here will be E into not this pi r square but this pi r square. Very carefully you have to do. Okay, students. So in that case, this will be B into 2 pi r equal to mu naught, and this current will be your epsilon naught. Pi r square you can take outside, dE by dt. So I have written from here. Okay. Constants I have taken outside. E is changing. No, why E is changing? Because charge on the plate is changing. So then 1 pi can be cancelled, 1 r can be cancelled. So your B will be mu naught epsilon naught r by 2 dE by dt. So a beautiful formula which says when electric field changes in a region like this, when electric field changes this way, there is magnetic field this way, which gave rise to the concept of electromagnetic waves. So which option? Option A. Now it will be interesting to note, suppose I say this is capital R and I want at a distance here outside. The one that I did was small r greater less than capital R. Suppose I want outside at that, because magnetic field will go like this, no, everywhere. It's a field, it's a region, it will keep spreading, right? Field is not localized somewhere, right? It keeps on spreading out. So what if I ask at that point? Then your Amperian loop will be here. So your left side will be same, B into this circumference, because you are integrating on the loop, Amperian loop. So it will be 2 pi this circumference. So 2 pi into radius of the circumference. Right side was id. But now to find id, what will you do? Epsilon naught d phi e by dt. But you have to find electric flux through this loop, this loop. But there is electric field only here, no? Yes or no? There is electric field only between the capacitor. Of course, we can neglect the fringing of electric field and all. So if electric field is only here, it is very clear, students, that this area, this part of the area and this part of the area are useless. So though I want flux through this loop, I have to only calculate flux through this loop, because this part of the area and this part of the area has no electric field only. So how will there be electric flux? So I have to write E into pi r square. If I'm outside, I have to use the radius of the plate. So in that case, this will be B into 2 pi r mu naught. ID will be epsilon naught. Constants you take outside into dE by dt. So pi will cancel, but small r will not cancel this time. Before small r got cancelled. So it will be B will be mu naught epsilon naught r square by 2r dE by dt. Okay, students, so be careful about this formula. By the way, if you, let's say you want to write in terms of the actual current, then your actual current will be this only now. So if you can find the actual current, then this itself will be your actual current. Yes or no? Because this time we have to find only current here, and that current is the current here, which is same as the current coming here. Okay, so we can replace this by this, and then your formula in terms of that, if I write, will be mu naught actual current 2 pi r, which you have seen many times. So if I want outside, you can directly use this if you can find the current easily. But if they give you electric field some function, then you have to use this one to do the derivation or to do the differentiation. Okay. Pause it and listen to whatever I told once more. Okay. If you feel little bit confusion, but I hope I have explained everything very clearly. The last question by mistake it has come here. It should be in EMI chapter. A circular ring of radius r is placed in a homogeneous magnetic field perpendicular to the plane of the ring. So there is a ring and there is a magnetic field which is kept perpendicular to the plane of the ring. The field changes according to time by the formula Kt. The electric field in the ring, electric field in this ring they are asking. Now you know that if B changes this way, if B is increasing this way, to oppose this B, there should be induced current this way. Induced current. To create current this way, there has to be electric field this way, right? So these are your what electric field? Induced electric field. So here we don't apply Ampere circuital law. Ampere circuital law is applied to find magnetic field. Here we have to use Faraday's law. So Faraday's law says E equals to d phi by dt. And this EMF we can write closed integral E dot dl. If you compare with Ampere circuital law, there it was B, here it is E. And there it was rate of change of electric flux, here it is magnetic flux. So if you, this radius of the ring is r. Now E is circular, at every point E is tangential, no? So E and dl everywhere will be in same direction. So this will give you E into 2 pi r. And magnetic flux is changing through this area. So magnetic flux, how will you write? B into pi r square. But we are not changing the radius. So you can take pi r square outside. So E into 2 pi r square outside, dB by dt. One r gets cancelled, one pi gets cancelled. So E becomes r by 2 dB by dt. So when to use which law? It's very clear. If B is changing and they want E, use Faraday's law. If E is changing and they want B, use Ampere circuital law, modified form. And here B is Kt, so if you take differentiation, you will get K by 2. right? Differentiation of kt will be what? K will come out, no? And differentiation of t with respect to t is 1. Which option? C. Okay, so as I promised you in the beginning, I have to do the question number 11 or 10, I think. But before doing that, in first PU, something very important you learned, and that is reflection. Not reflection of light, reflection of wave from a fixed boundary. Fixed boundary. If you check your EPL, you will find some nice diagrams also that explains this. So the idea was, if you have a rope and this end is kept fixed, okay, you can't move, this end cannot move. Now suppose I create a wave. So let's say, to make it simple, let's say I create a very simple wave pulse like this, snap it, patak, once. So you create this pulse at time 0. Now this part of the crest will pull this one up. So after some time your pulse will look like this. Okay, then this part will pull this one up. So after some time the pulse will look like this. In other words, the pulse will travel with some speed. When it will hit the fixed end, when this pulse will reach here, this will try to pull this end up, but this is fixed. It will not go up. Instead, it will react. Newton's third law. So if this is trying to pull it up, the fixed end will try to pull it down. So the reflected wave after reflection will have a pulse which will look like this. Okay, so a crest after hitting a fixed boundary will be reflected as trough. In other words, due to this kind of reflection, there will be a phase shift, or you can say phase change of 180 degree, or you can say pi degree. Now, why I am teaching this in this chapter, another way to understand, no students, is at any point here, the displacement should be 0. Now think, just before heating and just after heating. So let's say at 2 seconds it heats. Then just before heating 2 minus, and just after heating 2 plus. Just before, just after. To find the total displacement at that instant, I have to add those two waves. I have to add the displacement of those two waves to find the total displacement at that instant. So at that instant, just before and just after, one wave must be like this and one wave must be like this. So that when I add them at that instant, the total displacement must be 0, because it is a fixed end. So this is another way of understanding why crest will be reflected as trough. So there will be a phase shift of 180 degree. Now the reason why I am teaching this in this chapter is same thing happens when light is reflected from a denser surface. So when light, the mechanism is more complicated, but it helps you. Okay, so when light reflects from a denser surface where the speed will be less, right? So you can compare denser medium like this fixed end. So when light reflects from a denser surface, its phase shifts by pi radian. So this is very useful to solve many questions later chapter also, and here one chapter. Oh sorry, here one question. Okay. So please remember, when light is reflected from a denser surface, its phase will shift by 180 degree. So question number, how much was that? 10 or 11? It was 10. So see what they are saying. But before we continue, I think one trigonometric identity I hope you all know. Cos of minus theta is same as cos of theta. Cos is a even function, right? So you should know that one. So look here. A linearly polarized electromagnetic wave is given by the formula E bar is equal to E naught I cap cos kz minus omega t. It is incident normally on a perfectly reflecting infinite wall at z equal to a. So it is traveling, see, you can see it is traveling along z axis. The moment I write z here, it is traveling along z axis. So somewhere on z axis at z equal to a, they have put a infinite wall which is perfectly reflecting. So no light will be transmitted. So it is like your fixed boundary. Okay, no light will be transmitted. So this light will be going like this and it will be reflected like this. And the amplitude will not change because no light is being absorbed. If some light was absorbed, they will mention. Let's say they say that 2/3 of the amplitude, or let's say 50% is absorbed, of 50% of amplitude is absorbed. If 50% of the amplitude is absorbed, then 50% will be reflected. So for reflection, what will be the amplitude? It will be half of this. So if incident is this much, reflected will be half of this. Okay, like this. Will be half of this, like this. So this amplitude, if it is a, this will be a by 2. But nothing like that is mentioned in the question. So amplitude of the reflected wave will be same in this question. So they are asking the reflected wave will be given by what equation? Reflected wave. The first thing is, for the reflected wave, this z will be replaced by minus z. Okay, it's traveling in this direction. Your I cap, because if it is oscillating this way, now it is oscillating this way, right? So your I cap will be replaced by minus I cap if it is oscillating along x-axis. If it was oscillating along positive x-axis, the reflected will be along negative x-axis. And there will be a phase shift of 180 or pi. So these changes we have to do to this light. So if I do that, I will get electric field is equal to E naught I cap minus E naught I cap cos k should be minus z minus omega t plus pi. So this plus pi is because of this phase shift. Okay, students. So now this we have to simplify and write as and search it in the options. So this I can write minus E naught I cap. Now, if I think this quantity as theta, then cos of pi plus theta, cos of this theta plus pi is minus cos theta. This is in the third quadrant, no? Third quadrant, your cos is negative. So this will be your minus. So it will become minus will become plus here. So cos minus kz minus omega t. Correct or not? So cos of pi plus theta will be minus cos theta. So that minus and this minus will become plus. And then since cos is even function, you can take minus common from here and write as cos kz plus omega t. Right? I can take minus common and write kz plus omega t. This way I can write this formula. But cos of minus theta is same as cos of theta. So I can write cos of kz plus omega. So check which option it is. Option B, E naught I cap cos kz plus omega t. So this way you can easily find the formula for reflected wave. So we have finished very nicely EM waves also. Next Saturday and before Saturday, sorry, next Friday, before Friday only, I will start the MCQs of ray optics with reflection. Okay, thank you.